So let's recap how we got here. First off, all of this really picked up on Tuesday with President Donald Trump's sweeping 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports, in addition to his tax on Chinese imports that increased to 20% that same day. But by Wednesday, Mr. Trump announced a 1-month exemption for U.S. automakers after appeals from some major car manufacturers. And on Thursday, he expanded those temporary exemptions to cover Canadian and Mexican imports that are compliant with the trade deal he negotiated during his first term. The pause led Canada to suspend a second wave of retaliatory tariffs on a range of American goods, so letting up there slightly, but that turn down in tensions appears to be short-lived, as on Friday, President Trump threatened reciprocal tariffs on Canadian lumber and dairy products, potentially taking effect early next week.
Canada has been ripping us off for years on tariffs for lumber and for dairy products. 250%, nobody ever talks about that. 250% tariff, which is taking advantage of our farmers, so that's not going to happen anymore. They'll be met with the exact same tariff unless they drop it.
Well, these new tariffs that are being floated are just going to make the trip to the grocery store more expensive for Americans, and building homes for Americans more expensive as well.
And it's not the only escalation on the horizon here. So looking ahead, on Monday, China's package of retaliatory tariffs is set to take effect. Canada's most populous province, Ontario, also expected to start charging more for electricity shipped to certain American states. And President Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs are also set to kick in on March 12th. It is a lot to keep up with, and that is not all, because on April 2nd is the big one, as President Trump has described it. That is the date he is expected to implement what he has described as reciprocal tariffs, basically matching the duties currently charged by other countries. Leticia.
And Jackie, all of this back and forth about tariffs this week has caused a lot of uncertainty for businesses. What is President Trump saying about that?
Yeah, Leticia, President Trump was asked about some of the volatility in the stock market this week and that uncertainty, and what he basically said is, quote, there'll always be changes and adjustments. So really not backing down there, also defending the 1-month exemption in particular that he gave to U.S. auto manufacturers, saying that his goal is to work with these companies to bring jobs and manufacturing back to America. That said, though, I did speak to one economist who tells me that the uncertainty alone could have a slowdown effect on hiring because businesses are going to have a hard time planning, he said, what their costs are going to be moving forward if they're not sure whether or not there's going to be additional tariffs slapped on their supply chain. Leticia.
And Jackie, thanks so much for your live report from Washington. We appreciate it. Now to a big victory for the Sacramento Kings, but it was an unusual